What is up guys, Greedy Knight here with the layered Charge Blade tier list as promised from my poll. Charge Blade has an interesting design catalog due to its unique existence in Monster Hunter. There is a spectrum of good and bad designs, Rise is no exception. There are roughly 35 unique designs to go over, so I will avoid spending too much time on one weapon. I will be basing my rankings on how well they work with my favorite layers, so take this list with a grain of salt. Let's get into it. Diablos is the worst designed Charge Blade in all of Monster Hunter history. It's a Diablo's face glued on a sheet of metal to form the shield with a severed tail as the sword. While drawn or sheathed, the weapon is a clunky monstrosity, even for a Charge Blade. World did the weapon a service by simplifying the design to model the Defender series, and I would favor it in future installments over 4U's iteration. Normally I like Tigrex weapons, but Charge Blade is not one of them. The sword is great actually, but the shield is my issue. This jagged rectangle tries to incorporate every aspect of Tigrex, all at once. The result is a confused design that can't decide between being a Tigrex mouth or its jutting claws. If these claws fanned out whenever you did a foul load or morphed into your various modes, while maintaining a sleek shield and sheath look, this would easily move up to B tier. Since Charge Blade has the ability to compact and expand, the fact that Tigrex doesn't solidifies my ranking for this weapon. Bizarro suffers the same issue as Diablos, ripping off some poor rock wyvern's back to make the shield and yanking crystals from its familial jewels to make the blade. It feels like a missed opportunity to incorporate a heavier crystal design, retracting into the rocks as you morph between modes. Barroth's obnoxiously large shield design looks like a flattened bone crown. It looks identical in both modes, making it a lazy and dull design. The sword's cross-shaped club is a subpar blade compared to the likes of Rathalos and others. If they scaled the shield by half, I would gladly rate this weapon at higher than F tier. The Bone and Gyratotus Charge Blades are the worst of the world designs added to Rise, incorporating unnecessary jags and spikes to the Defender reskin. They still resemble the Defender weapons, saving it from F tier, if only by a hair. The Somnacanth Charge Blade has a shield that looks like an oyster shell with a sea slug sword. When you perform a foul load, the hidden Somnacanth face is admittedly cool, but there should have been a bigger emphasis on Somnacanth's purple fins, rather than the tiny spikes the Charge Blade actually got. Gossarag is missing half of the shield surface area that other weapons have, so I have zero idea how anyone guard points attacks with this weapon without getting hit. The biggest missed opportunity is that the weapon should have incorporated the frost aspect of Gossarag to envelop the weapon when drawn and retract when sheathed, akin to Chameleos. Narwa's shield is basically a giant eyeball. The foul railing looks like demonetization bait. The yellow fleshy coloration does not help in dissolving this image. Go next before this gets even more inappropriate. Of the Fated 4 designs, Mitsutsume was easily the worst Charge Blade. Every other Mitsutsume blade design incorporated a Japanese inspired weapon, except Charge Blade. The shield is teetering on Diablo syndrome, but it is saved by the purple claws that extend into the monster whenever you shield thrust. The sword should have been just a regular Daito blade instead of this amethyst origami blade we got, and the shield could have been slimmer. Ibushi's design is really close to Seredio's Charge Blade. It has a simpler design compared to Narwa and is colored blue, allowing it to dodge the wrath of the Rule 34 admins much easier. The feather decorations add a tribal aspect to the design, making you look like a chief when the weapon is sheathed. Rajang's shield does a lot of work in favor of the weapon's look, having a good railing with a solid axe mode. The sword is a horn rammed into another horn and then sharpened to have an edge. It's not the cleanest looking blade relative to the other weapons, but it is serviceable. The Dango Charge Blade arms you with a mallet for a sword and a portable mochi station for a shield. When you load a foul, a sphere of mochi pops out. Being constructed entirely out of wood is true to mochi making. It doesn't hold a candle to previous meme Charge Blades like the Pizza Charge Blade, but this one is a 3-star side dish. The fish is a meme Charge Blade. It's not meant to be a serious weapon, but rather pulls its charm from its joke weapon status. The sword is a pike that rams into the shield, becoming filleted when you morph or foul load. It is a fresh take on what it means to be a Charge Blade. The Kamara and Rampage blades are shuriken kites. They are a bit plain when compared to potential collapsing designs like the Windmill Shuriken from Naruto, but I like the weapon for being a ninja design. Rampage could have had better recoloring options, like altering the shade of the steel trim and blade to better match your Charge Blade sets. The Palico Charge Blade is fine, or should I say feline. The shield is an image of a skittish cat, but the axe railing is a cat paw back scratcher. The design in sword mode looks sleek while sheathed and drawn, which is why I showcased this layer in a few time attacks. Poisonous Veil and Dragon Veil are solid color swaps. The heart-like design reminds me of the Heartless Sigil from Kingdom Hearts, so naturally I rocked the Dragon Veil during my earlier hours of Rise to complete my Lingering Will cosplay. There isn't anything wrong with these weapons, but there are just better designs moving further into B tier and onward. Back in my day, Teostra was a top tier looking weapon. These Rise Whippersnapper charge blades came around with their funky fresh designs. I want to emphasize the Elder and Elder Dragon since the newer designs aesthetically look better in both modes of play. The Great Izuchi charge blade is sleek and compact, allowing it to look cool in every form. The only reason I wouldn't rank this any higher is because the Izuchi sword sticks out when the weapon is sheathed. If the tail retracted into the handle, this would be an A or maybe an S tier contender. The Defender Charge Blade and its various reskins are the absolute baseline for what a Charge Blade should look like. If a weapon deviated from these blueprints, then they are appropriately ranked. Since I started in Monster Hunter 4U with Charge Blade as my main, this is my biased opinion on good design. Zinogre is a solid design despite originating in World. Instead of the usual Defender line reskin, this one got special treatment since it was from a recurring fan favorite monster. It falls in line with the pre-World Zinogre designs, incorporating the organized thunder spikes on both the blade and the shield. As one redditor once said, Magnamalo is a solid chunk of cheese. Good thing I like cheese. The Carotene blades used to encase the Hellfire Center gives this weapon a sleek and compact look. My only complaint is that it should have incorporated heavier Hellfire accents when morphed in Axe mode. Rathian is a classic design that ranks sub S tier due to the lack of its superior forms in the Pink Rathian and Dread King Rathian iterations. The Axe mode is arguably the best in the game because it actually looks like an axe head. The rapier-like sword is inferior to the blades higher on this list, hence the low A tier rating. Rathalos is the Diablo's charge blade done right. The shield is a Rathalos face, but it left out the unnecessary extremities like the mouth, nose, and ears. It minimized the clunky monster face design and maximized its shield look. The Heat Saber is one of the best blades from Monster Hunter 4U, playing into the charge blade's energy mechanic. However, it is held back by the intensive flame theme, eliminating any element charge blade layers for non-fire weapons. Barioth is a cool weapon design. The shield rails Barioth fangs into the monster whenever you shield thrust, while also serving as the axe blades in axe mode. The sword, being a crisp broadsword, incorporates the swervy nature of Barioth in blade form. The only complaint I have is that the sheath look of the weapon is mid tier at best. The size is not the issue, but if they shifted the shield further down the hunter's back, this would be ranked higher on the list. Valstrax is a jet engine charge blade, now with a red glow from its crimson subspecies. The V-shaped shield makes your shield thrust look like you are jet punching the monster. With the flashy foul explosions of charge blade, it only adds fuel to that engine. Nargacuga is a not so hidden gem. Being the meta Savage Axe weapon resulted in its higher usage in the charge blade community. It drew features from both Sword and Shield as well as Switch Axe, resulting in the sleek design when sheathed, erupting into a jagged weapon when drawn. The black color fits well with both of my favorite layered armors, so that's a plus in my book. Volvodon is the best Savage Axe charge blade by virtue of being a perfect gear-like circle. It is the definition of spin to win. When that doesn't work, you clip the monster into submission for being belligerent. Upon closer inspection, the shield does look like it drew inspiration from the yin and yang symbol. I wish that the yellow and red coloration would support this image a bit more. Homilius has the best sword mode in the game. The blade retracts into the wizard wand. The shield is a stack of tarot cards that fan out whenever you do any shield related shenanigans. Since I use a suit layered set, the cards make it look like I'm some sort of magician or businessman. It bugs me that I ended up liking the mandible blade. The fork sword was a negative until I loaded my files and morphed into axe mode. The fork gap is filled with the sword railing, turning your blade into a claymore. The axe mode fans out to reveal a butterfly patterned beetle axe. The best part is that whenever you sharpen from sheath, the sword folds down into a yellow blade. Rachnikadaki is a keyblade. If you haven't already noticed, I'm a fan of Kingdom Hearts. This Lady Luck sword and buckler shield combo look like they are stripped from the art books of the Keyblade catalog. It doesn't help that Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 introduce Keyblade transformations like the counter shield, fitting well with our favorite morphing weapon. Tetranodon's rusted broadsword and moss-encrusted shield depicts the amount of effort it takes to master the charge blade, getting damaged and battered in the process. Although sleek in sword mode and while sheathed, the axe mode expands, becoming a battle axe worthy of slaying any monster. The railing is a blade hidden within the shield, making it appear as if you are drawing a blade as you enter CSS or morph into axe mode. Kushala is the epitome of charge blade design. The steel black broadsword and great shield portrays a dark knight look when drawn. The shield is a turtle shell using its appendages for the various animations. Shield thrust is a turtle double fin kick. The axe mode turns your shield into a sea turtle with the fin serving as the blade and the railing serving as the tail. Factoring in condensed spinning slash, you command your Squirtle charge blade to do a rapid spin whenever you bust out the monster. I uploaded this video solely because I promised to do so in the poll I posted at the start of March. I'm a fan of making tier lists, but opinion-based tier lists are strictly to be taken with a grain of salt. Whatever I say about a given design is subjective, so do not take my comments personally. As for the plan for the next few months, I will review the weapon roster in a tier list at some point, but I want to work on other videos I have planned first. Anyways, that's all I have for this one. Greedy Knight, signing out.